we go out on a starry night, a clear night with no clouds, and we stand and we look around, we can be in awe, basically, of possibly how small we are and how large this universe is in many ways. If we look again with our microscopes into the body, we've been able to get into a smaller and smaller space. We go beyond the tissue to the cells. We go beyond the cells to the molecules. We go beyond the molecules to the atoms. We go beyond the atoms to the subatomic particles. And we find these subatomic particles are in fact coming in and out of existence. And then when we look at an atom, the particles themselves are a very, very tiny part of the atom. That in fact, what we're looking at is space, just very much as we're looking up at the stars above. We're seeing just as much space inside. That is us that I'm talking about. That in fact, these are our cells, our molecules, our atoms, our spaces. These are our spaces. This is us. We are made up of this space. The realization that we were quantum beings has come in the last 10, 15 years to me, as it has to the consciousness of many people in the world as well. I was learning about the entanglement of atoms, okay? Something I couldn't see, of course, but it rang true that in fact, if there were two hydrogen atoms and one was spinning one way, the electrons were spinning one way, the possibility was that they could have an instant connection with another atom, which was spinning the other way, spinning like this. And so actually what we were seeing was a picture that reminded me very much of the infinity sign. Okay? And the connection between these atoms, which was being demonstrated in laboratories, was independent of time and space. In other words, it wasn't this was causing that, it was they were together, they were connected. Einstein himself, when this was discovered, felt it was spooky. He actually called it was called spooky action at a distance. One of the theories is that we all started with a Big Bang. Everything we can see in the universe, including us, started at an infinitesimally small particle. Okay? So there was a time when we were all bound tightly together in something so small you couldn't see. Okay? And that's where we all came from. And the theory, of course, of the Big Bang is that we have an expanding universe and that we've all come from that connected point, that point of connection. So if one looks at that science, it isn't unreasonable to understand how, in fact, over 14 billion years or so, that we are still connected. Okay? We're still connected. There is something within us that is instantly connected in form to everything else. It was beginning to dawn on me that, in fact, our body wasn't this closed system, isolated from the rest of the world. We're, in fact, an open system. That our skin was only sort of one step in the way of a continuum from the outside to the inside. And ultimately, this led me on my journey to investigate Chinese medicine and the whole philosophy behind it, which was basically energy medicine. That in fact many of the things that we were classifying in Western medicine as diseases, they would be saying were symptoms. The body is relating to us information in the only way it knows how. Okay? And it's so important that it is listened to, because ultimately what I do is listen to symptoms. And it's in that listening that the symptoms reduce down. They don't have to make such a noise. We now know that what the Chinese would be calling meridians, are in fact planes within the body, and they're planes of connective tissue. We have a skeleton of connective tissue that conducts electricity and transmits electricity, electrical current, and it infiltrates into every cell of our body as well. I became to regard an acupuncture needle as an aerial or an antenna connecting us, our bodies, to the outside world. Okay. This means our bodies ourselves are like these antennae for the rest, connecting us to a much greater whole, that we're all basically interconnected. Again, impressed by how acupuncture points worked on the body, I became intrigued about with the use of the ear in acupuncture to treat the whole body. Okay, and the concept that all the information in the body was held in one particular part of the body, the ear. Say we're making a hologram of an apple, and that was recorded on a plate, on a photographic plate. And when they put a laser beam through this photographic plate, they recreated a three-dimensional shadow image, a phantom of the apple. Okay. But the interesting thing to me was that if this photographic plate, if we cut a little corner out, okay, any little corner, so how big or how small, and did the same thing with a laser beam, you would get the whole apple as well. And what dawned on me is that it wasn't as if one thing was leading to another. They were coexisting together. All the information was being held in a very small part of a whole. If we extend that holographic model even further to the concept of that we are human antennae, it also explains that, in fact, the information around us, the universal information, we can call that consciousness, also lives within us. There are many now that see the bodies our body not just as a physical mass, but also a set of vibrations. Okay? And there are thoughts that we're formed on, our thoughts, music, the sound of our voices are also vibrations and have an impact on our body. Seeing ourselves as what I describe as human antennae, antennas, enriches our lives, but also puts us in the position of ultimate responsibility for our own health and healing. This model allows us to understand much more about ourselves and what we can do for ourselves and what we can do for others. This is not to be something that needs to be kept in medical files or in the ivory towers of hospitals or research departments. This is to be owned by everybody and understood by everybody. The most important aspect of this whole model of health, the human antenna model, is that it's not about someone else, it's about you. You.